Taiwan will treat Chinese military flight into its airspace as a first strike, defense minister says. A Chinese military jet flies over Pingtan Island, one of the mainland China's closest point from Taiwan, in Kuo-cheng province in August 5th, 2022. Hong Kong CNN Chinese fighter jet or drones that intrude into Taiwan's territorial airspace will be regarded as the first strike, Taiwan's defense minister warned Wednesday as the Iceland seeks to step up its defenses in response to Beijing's military pressure. Defense Minister Kuo-cheng made the remarks when addressing lawmakers on the threat posed by China's recent spate of escalatory measures, which has seen Chinese air warplanes and drones fly near to the self-governing Iceland. Chu did not specify how Taipei would respond if People's Liberation Army aircraft breached the territorial limit, defined as 12 nautical miles, 12.2 kilometers from the Iceland shores. In the past, we said we won't be the first to strike, which meant we will not fire the first shot without China firing artillery shells or missiles first, Chiu Kuo-cheng said. But now the definition has obviously changed, as China used means such as drones. So we have adjusted and will view any crossing of aerial entities into Taiwan's territorial airspace as the first strike, Chiu said during the meeting of the legislators of Foreign and National Defense Committee. Earlier this year, Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen said the Iceland military would take the necessary and forceful countermeasures as appropriate against what she called the Chinese gray zone warfare tactics, including drone harassment. We will not give China the pretext to create conflict. We will not provoke a dispute, and we will be restrained. Yet, that does not mean that we will not counteract, Tsai said. Pressured by lawmakers Wednesday, Chiu said that Taiwan's military definitely has its red line when it comes to the Iceland defense and stressed that the military will launch countermeasures once the red line is crossed, without specifying what the red line is and what those countermeasures will be. CNN has reached out to China's foreign ministry for comment and is waiting for the response. The Taiwan lies fewer than 110 miles, 177 kilometers off the coast of China. For more than 70 years, the two sides has been governed separately, but that hasn't stopped China's ruling Communist Party from claiming the Iceland as its own despite having never controlled it. Chinese leader Xi Jinping has said that reunification between China and Taiwan is the inevitable and refused to rule out the use of force. Tensions between Beijing and Taipei are at the highest we there been in recent decades, with the Chinese military holding major military drills near the island. Following the visit of U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan in early August, China stepped up military pressure tactics on the island, sending fighter jets across the median line of the Taiwan Strait, the body of the water separating Taiwan and China. For decades, the median line had served as the informal demarcation line between the two, with military incursions across it being rare. But Chu said Beijing has shattered that understanding. She has he said China has changed the status quo and is in establishing a new normal. Chu's statement as to the complicated complicated security situation across the strait. Following recent remarks by U.S. President Joe Biden that U.S. military personnel would defend Taiwan if the Chinese military were to launch an invasion of the democratically ruled island. Under the One China policy, the U.S. acknowledges China's position that Taiwan is part of China, but has never officially recognized the Communist Party's claim to the self-governing island of 23 million. The U.S. provides Taiwan with defensive weapons, but has remained intentionally ambiguous on whether it would intervene militarily in the event of the Chinese attack. According to U.S. intelligence community, China is actively attempting to build the military capable of taking over Taiwan, even in the face of U.S. support for the island. Earlier this year, CIA Deputy Director David Cohen said that while China's leaders would prepare to gain control of Taiwan through non military means, they want the country's military to have the capability to take control of the island by 2027 should such a decision be made.